We live in a world addicted to motion, always running, always striving, always chasing the next thing. But what if the very act of chasing is the reason your desires keep slipping away? In the language of quantum manifestation, urgency doesn't magnetize, it repels. Reality at the quantum level isn't a straight line. It doesn't bend to pressure, it bends to coherence. And coherence begins when your inner state already mirrors the life you claim to want. Here's the paradox most people miss. They call for abundance while vibrating with scarcity. They imagine love while radiating loneliness. They affirm freedom while embodying fear. The universe doesn't respond to the words, the rituals, or the vision boards. It responds to the contradiction beneath them. Manifestation isn't about asking, it's about becoming. The quantum field, a sea of infinite potential, doesn't move because you push harder. It moves when you resonate. Your task isn't to chase, it's to tune, to stop forcing and start aligning. Think of it like tuning a frequency. You can't hear 98.7 FM if your dial is stuck on 88.1. No matter how much you want the music, it won't play until you match the signal. That's quantum manifestation, not begging the universe to deliver, but stepping into the frequency where your desired life already exists. This is where ancient wisdom and modern science meet. Neville Goddard called it living from the end. Dr. Joe Dispenza speaks of coherence between heart and brain. Abraham Hicks calls it the vortex. Different words, same truth. When your inner state harmonizes, the field responds. But here's the catch. Simplicity terrifies the ego. We've been trained to believe that effort equals value, that struggle equals progress, that hustle equals transformation. Yet in the quantum world, the opposite is true. The harder you chase, the more you affirm the absence. The more you force, the more resistance you create. That's why this teaching feels so radical. Because the truth is simple, and simplicity isn't glamorous. It doesn't sell. But it's where the shift begins. So pause the chase. Stop waiting for tomorrow, for the money, for the partner. The version of your life you desire already exists, right now. Quantum theory tells us all possibilities coexist. Your only task is to collapse into the one you choose, not by force, but by frequency. If reality is a reflection, then ask yourself, what is it reflecting back to you today? People are told to repeat affirmations, to write their desires down 10 times, to force the words into existence. And while these practices can sometimes help, they often become mechanical, like polishing the mirror without ever changing the face it reflects. The quantum field doesn't respond to repetition, it responds to resonance. Not to what you say, but to who you are. And being is not a performance. It isn't pretending to feel abundant while secretly worrying about bills. It isn't declaring trust in the universe while quietly counting the days. Being is alignment, an inner harmony between your thoughts, your emotions, and the reality you wish to experience. As Dr. Joe Dispenza describes, thoughts carry an electrical charge, emotions carry a magnetic pull, and together they form the electromagnetic signature you broadcast into the quantum field. That field, which holds every possible version of your life, begins to reorganize itself according to the signal you send. Not according to what you want, but according to what you are. Let's make it simple. If you long for financial freedom but live in constant anxiety, checking balances, imagining worst-case scenarios, your signal is scarcity. And scarcity doesn't draw in wealth, It multiplies itself. The field isn't punishing you, it's simply reflecting your broadcast. Here's the shift. The most powerful way to change your signal is not to chase a different future, but to embody it now. To practice the frequency of your desired reality until it feels natural. Not as a fantasy, but as a memory you're stepping back into. Because in the infinite spectrum of possibilities, that version of you already exists. And when your mind and heart align with it, you begin to collapse that potential into form. This isn't wishful thinking, it's resonance becoming reality. Neuroscience shows us that the brain is not fixed. It rewires itself through repetition and rehearsal. When you imagine a future and allow yourself to feel it, gratitude, joy, peace, your brain begins to build the pathways as if it were already unfolding. Practice this long enough, and your body learns the future before it arrives. And when the body believes, the field responds. Neville Goddard spoke of this long ago when he said, "Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled." He wasn't asking you to pretend. He was pointing to fusion, letting the feeling of your desired reality become more real than your current circumstances. When that feeling becomes familiar, your nervous system calibrates to it. And this is the part most people miss. Manifestation is not a request to the universe. It is the meeting point with the version of yourself who already lives that reality, and bringing that version into the present. Not through effort, but through resonance. When resonance becomes consistent, the field reflects it back as lived experience. There's a shift that happens when you stop waiting for signs and start becoming the sign. When you stop scanning for synchronicities and start living in sync, that's when reality bends. That's when time collapses. That's when alignment feels like magic. Not because of chance, but because of coherence. Quantum mechanics tells us that observation collapses possibility into reality. But not all observation carries the same weight. Observation infused with trust and emotional clarity has far more power than observation clouded by fear and doubt. So ask yourself, what version of reality are you consistently observing within? When people say act as if, it isn't about pretending or faking confidence. It's about stepping into the emotional stance of someone who already knows. Someone who doesn't wait for proof, but embodies the evidence before it arrives. This is the beginning of mastering your frequency. And when you do, you don't chase reality. You become the gravity that draws it in. The quantum field doesn't hand you what you want. It reflects what you are. So the real question becomes, how do you collapse possibility into form? Quantum physics reveals that every potential already exists. Your dream career, your ideal partner, your financial breakthrough. They are not distant hopes. They are present potentials, waiting for your choice. But thought alone doesn't make them real. They crystallize when your focused awareness collapses the wave. And not just any awareness, not a casual glance. The field responds to observation charged with belief, trust, and emotional alignment. When you feel your future as if it is already here, you begin to impress that version into the unified field. You don't chase alignment, you stabilize it. And when you do, the universe begins to answer. Dr. Joe Dispenza describes this as coherence, a harmony between the brain and the heart. Most people live in the opposite state, mental noise and emotional conflict. Their thoughts reach for one outcome, but their emotions broadcast lack. Their actions scatter, driven by fear and doubt. And in that confusion, the field has no clear signal to reflect. When the mind and heart synchronize, the broadcast sharpens. You stop sending mixed messages. You radiate a single frequency of trust, gratitude, and certainty. The signature of someone who already is what they once longed to become. From a biological perspective, emotions are chemistry. Gratitude releases dopamine and oxytocin. Trust releases serotonin. These aren't just pleasant feelings. They shift your entire physiology, and your state becomes the magnet that draws experience. If you can generate these emotions without waiting for external proof, you reclaim your creative authority. You stop reacting to life and instead begin shaping it. This is the moment reality starts to bend. Neville Goddard often said that assumptions harden into facts. What he meant was simple. Your repeated emotional stance creates a gravitational pull strong enough to reshape your world. The outer always mirrors the inner, and this isn't abstract philosophy. It's supported by physics, by what we now understand about coherence, entanglement, and the observer effect. The observer effect shows us that what you focus on doesn't just expand, it transforms. You're not passively watching a future unfold. You are participating in its creation. You are shaping reality every moment, with each thought, each feeling, each choice. The question is, how do you sustain it? How do you live as though the life you want is already here? This is where most people stumble. They touch the frequency for a moment, in meditation, in journaling, but then slip back into worry, doubt, distraction, reinforcing the very identity they're trying to leave behind. It's like planting a seed and then digging it up every day to see if it has sprouted. True manifestation requires consistency of energy, not perfection, but a steady return, again and again, to the version of yourself who already has what you seek. Not just in thought, but in feeling. Not just in words, but in action. Even in the smallest ways. Walk as if. Breathe as if. Decide as if. Because every small act of alignment compounds. Each time you choose coherence over fear, presence over distraction, you strengthen the imprint of your new reality. And then something remarkable happens. Once you stabilize that vibration, life begins to respond with synchronicity. Unexpected doors opening, sudden clarity, the right people appearing at the right time. It isn't magic. It's the field reorganizing itself around your signal. You'll know you're close when you feel it deep within. Not as impatience, not as restless excitement, but as certainty. A quiet knowing, an unshakable inevitability. That's when you stop asking, "Where is it?" and start feeling, "It's already mine." At that point, you've crossed from wishing into authorship, from possibility into embodiment, and the shift is not only in your outer world, but in how you perceive it. You no longer need validation, because your frequency itself is the proof. The wave has collapsed, and the life you once imagined is now imagining you. When you begin to live from the end, not toward it, everything changes. But here's the truth. This is where most people get stuck. Not because they lack belief, but because they don't yet know how to become what they desire. They try to think their way into a new life without feeling it. They hope for change while embodying the same patterns. And the field does not respond to hope. It responds to being. Reality responds to certainty. Quantum manifestation isn't about forcing yourself to think positively until something appears. It's about becoming a match for the timeline you wish to step into. That version of you already exists. You're not building it from nothing. You're selecting it by tuning your energy to its frequency. How do you know when you're aligned? You stop obsessing over the details. You stop chasing signs or guarantees. You become less reactive to the outer world and more attuned to your inner balance. As Abraham Hicks often says, you can't get there from there. You cannot manifest freedom, peace, or fulfillment from a state of urgency, frustration, or lack. You have to begin acting, choosing, and most importantly, feeling as though you are already there. That's when the shift begins. You start receiving thoughts that belong to that version of you. Your intuition sharpens. New paths reveal themselves. Synchronicities grow louder. Reality feels fluid. Time bends, as if life itself is rushing to meet you. Dr. Joe Dispenza explains that when you enter elevated emotional states, gratitude, love, awe, your brain and heart synchronize in gamma coherence. In that state, your nervous system opens to new patterns. Your field becomes magnetic. Manifestation becomes natural. Not because you forced it, but because you became the channel through which it flows. This is why the teaching is simple. Stop chasing. Start attracting. It's not about effort. It's about calibration. Think of the moments when everything just clicked, when opportunities appeared without struggle, when someone spoke the very words you were thinking, when life aligned with uncanny precision. That was the field responding to your alignment. Now imagine living in that state by choice. That is the practice. And here's why this message finds you now. You may have felt your manifestations take too long, or wondered if something was blocking them, or feared you were doing it wrong. But the truth is, you've always been closer than you realized. The fact that you're hearing this now is proof that your field is ready to shift. You are not broken. You are not behind. You don't need to chase. You only need to stabilize the version of you who no longer chases, the one who knows, the one who walks with quiet certainty and magnetic presence. That version already exists, and each time you remember it, you collapse the distance between now and your desire. So let this be the moment you stop trying and start remembering. Let this be the moment you embody the version of you who lives as though it is already done. Let this be the quantum event, the shift from waiting to becoming. And now, let's anchor this shift. If these words resonate with you, if you feel the stirrings of alignment within, take a moment to affirm it. Symbols carry power, and in many traditions, the number 777 represents divine alignment, a reminder that your path is unfolding exactly as it should. When you engage with that symbol, you're not just participating, you're activating, you're declaring coherence. You're choosing to stand in resonance with the reality you're ready to receive. And as you do, the frequency amplifies, not only for you, but for everyone connected to this field. That's how energy works. It multiplies what we affirm together. So let this be your signal to the universe. I no longer chase. I attract because I already am. The quantum field whispers the same truth again and again. There is nothing to wait for. Every version of your life already exists. Every possibility is present. You don't create it through force. You tune into it through alignment. The shift doesn't require years of effort or complicated rituals. It begins the moment you stop searching for signs outside and start embodying the signal within. The reality you desire isn't far away. It's vibrationally near. You don't need to leap into it. You simply need to stop resonating with the version you've outgrown. This is what Neville Goddard meant by assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It isn't wishful thinking. It's the sacred science of self-selection. You're not asking life to change. You're declaring, "This is who I am now," and the field, faithful to coherence, responds. But here's the truth. You can't fake it. You can't pretend abundance while rooted in doubt. You can't repeat affirmations from a place of fear. You can't meditate on a new life while clinging to the old one. The field doesn't respond to surface rituals. It listens only to the vibration beneath your thoughts. That is where your power lives. So how do you live from that power? You practice coherence. You return to alignment again and again, not once, not occasionally, but as a way of being. You speak differently. You walk differently. You treat yourself and others as if you already are that version. And soon, it's no longer practice. It's reality. This is the code behind manifestation. Not hidden, but simple. Too simple for a mind addicted to struggle. Too soft for a world addicted to effort. But simplicity is the key. The more you release the need to make it happen, the more reality shapes itself around you. Trust this. Stop waiting for evidence and become the evidence. And remember, the most powerful manifestations rarely arrive with fireworks. They come quietly, in ordinary moments. A shift in breath, a sudden calm, a knowing. The universe speaks softly when it delivers what you've already claimed. So ask yourself, what if the change you've been waiting for has been waiting for you to stop waiting? What if your next timeline is already watching, ready for the signal that says, I'm ready? Collapse the distance. Let this space be more than words. Let it be a portal of frequency. Let your intentions become anchors in the field. And as you do, notice, you are not alone. We are a wave, a movement, and your coherence strengthens the whole. If this message awakened something in you, stay connected. This is a sanctuary for those who know the universe is listening, for those ready to embody what they've been calling in. You are not becoming powerful. You already are. You are not learning how to manifest. You are remembering how reality responds to you. And the moment you stop chasing and start aligning, that's when manifestation becomes effortless. That's when it becomes inevitable. That's when it becomes magical.